The winning formula in innovation and continuous improvement track is one that's really, if you take those two pieces, continuous improvement and innovation, you hear it in the title of it, but it really focuses on both the approach to continuous improvement within organizations, and some exciting things around how project teams do retrospectives, how whole organizations do learning. I know we have some companies like Whiting Turner right there on the spot in Congress will do with their team a kind of reflective session. So some of that's around process. That's continuous improvement. The second part of that is innovation, and that's really the exciting things that are the cutting edge of deploying tools and technologies to advance lean practices, especially as it relates to the installation productivity and understanding the overall project flow and execution. With topics like AI, digital collaboration platforms, prefabrication, plenty of prefabrication every year, and the application of technology to really advance thinking in that realm. So that's the kind of the last track that we have in the series of tracks overall, and it's really that reflective, like how can we get better? And oh, when we think about that, are there any breakthroughs for us? So hopefully, I think this is one of those tracks where inspiration comes into play. I know for myself, I mean, I go all the way back to me learning construction from my grandfather. I was inspired, I get inspired by seeing other people do things and get that mode in my mind that somebody else did it, it's possible. So let me dig into it and try it. And so it's a great way for you to see what your peers are doing to advance, and really be innovative on fronts and let that stir within your own mind and then bring it back to your own organization and really start to drive and come back next year and tell us your stories of innovation. So number one, I the way my brain works, I love innovation and seeing new things. Having been a part of the selection process this year, I am really excited. There's a couple of topics embedded within here that, knowing some of the abstracts that were selected, I know we always have prefabrication, modularization, and we've got some advancing edges on that, both in terms of approach. So how do you integrate the design for manufacturing within the overall project approach, and then some unique specific applications that are starting to explore other edges of prefabrication beyond just maybe multi-trade racks, although we have those in there, exterior wall systems, interior wall systems, all different angles on the prefab approach in front. Got some unique live labs around technology using QR codes to help with safety in some items in the field, the laser guided layout, et cetera, and some teams on the installation end using smart technology to really inform in real time the production and productivity so that they can feed that back into their tact planning. So all of that's pretty exciting. It doesn't stop there though. We have some organization-wide ones that are around really lessons learned, improving post-mortems. There's going to be a cool live lab demonstrating post-mortem. I know all of our companies can do a better job of doing that reflection session. Even if it's not at the end of the project, you're doing it in phases on the project to really capture lessons learned. And there's a really cool one from Robbins and Morton about capturing ideas, innovations within the organization. The title of that one's Idea Engine. So those are all ones that personally, I hope, I know I can't get to them all, but as an attendee that I'm looking forward to. Yes. So if you look at the spread, and I have my spreadsheet where we track everything up in the background, it helps to let people know that we try to do a balanced representation of first of the level of lean experience. So we tag things as fundamental, intermediate, and advanced. We have a decent, healthy blend across all three of those within this category. And then if you look at the application by what we call the legs of the stool in our industry, owners, architects, designers, construction managers, trade partners, vendors, et cetera, there is a healthy representation within this topic for each of those categories. And as I mentioned before, Sometimes it's at the whole company level, and sometimes it's at the project level. So hopefully there's something for everyone to take back. This year, I'm excited to say we have one that is from a finance department applying lean within an organization. So we get to hear project stories a lot, but when we hear these deeper stories of eliminating waste and driving value in the back of house of how we service projects overall, that's really taking the lean tools and principles and applying them throughout. And I went back through that abstract, and that individual was inspired from attending Congress previously to go ahead and take some of those lessons learned back into their finance department. So I think stuff like that is really helping people to see that it's not just the work front where we're installing materials. It's everything that we do to support that as an organization. So that's exciting. I know there's I mentioned the project retrospectives. I mean that for me over the course of my career, everywhere I've worked, we have always said, hey, we need to do a better job of reflecting at the end of every project to capture our lessons learned to really improve our operations. Yet every company I've worked at, when we're done with one project, the team is very ready, if they haven't already dispersed, to move on to the next one. And so to hear how companies are getting disciplined around that and ensuring that that happens, to me, that's one of the simplest things that we can all do that helps us improve on project after project, or if it's just an internal process, just every time you repeat it within a project, take that opportunity to stop and do an after action review. Let that be your improvement. And my belief is that's one of the simplest things from a lean perspective that we can do that gains you the most momentum and most really inspirational across the organization opportunities for everybody to be looking for areas for improvement.
All right, great. Well, I think we have covered it on this track, the winning formula, innovation and continuous improvement. Anything else you'd like to add, Kevin? Or
No, I just as a I'm engaged with you in the planning process, and I love it every year when I could turn the hat around from being a planner to now being a participant because I have a direct lead on all of the really cool stuff that got selected. And as a participant, I'm just excited to kind of be there and experience this with my peers.
wonderful. Thank you.